It's over 9,000!
Welcome, Super Elite Warriors, to Final Forum, a podcast for the discussion of all things Dragon Ball. I am your host, Jelli, an elite recruiting member of the Freedom Force, on a mission to find the best warriors from across the galaxy to join the greatest army of all time. And I am joined, as always, by my new recruit co-host.
This is the Bekinney, and join us as we uncover the cultural inspirations and hidden history behind Akira Toriyama's seminal franchise. Look, I really think it'd be for the best if we got out of here.
And I think we owe it to our listeners to finally start ramping up the level of excitement.
Well, can't we just tell them what we've been doing out here?
We've been talking about Dragon Ball and looking for Earth. Everyone already knows that.
That's not what I... Look, was this show always like this?
It's difficult to remember.
I mean, I guess I wouldn't want to go back and listen to old episodes of this either to find out for sure.
That's something we can both agree on. Okay, good season. Wrap it up, everyone. Good job out there. See you for season 5.
Wait, what are you talking about?
That's a wrap. Neither one of us died. No big climactic battle, but, good season. Not great, but good.
So that's just it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of anything else to do for now.
Really? Because right outside our ship, there's something happening.
You can't just leave well enough alone, can you?
Me? I can't.
Right. Now, don't blame me when we have some huge climactic battle in a few weeks. You asked for this.
For the record, I did not.
I said good season, and you kept pushing the issue.
I did not. I just wanted clarification.
Well, we'll have to keep all this in and let our listeners decide. Anyway, listeners, we remain in orbit around this planet near Rigel Kentaurus, and the pulsating blue has become increasingly more intense.
This is what it looks like from here, thousands of miles away. Think about it. We were on a planet flashing like that. Who knows what permanent damage has been done to our eyes?
Well, if I recall correctly, you waived vision coverage when you signed up.
No, I waved for you to pass me the forms.
Yeah, you waived.
My eyes are fine.
Good. Keep them peeled. I think we're about to see a repeat, but from a distance this time.
Will do.
Did you see it? Did you see it this time?
I saw it before, when we entered orbit around the planet. You just wouldn't let me describe it to our listeners.
And I'm not going to again, because as we engage thrusters and begin plotting a tracking course for the two beings that flew from within our former planet, we have to get into this week's topic. And today, we've got 5 more episodes of Dragon Ball Z. 61
to 65.
But before we get into it, we'll do our CTAs and remind everyone, please rate, review, subscribe, all the good things. Follow us on social media. It really helps us. We really, really get a big what's it called? Dopamine boost every time we see.
Oh, I thought you were going to say a Zenkai.
No. No.
I'm sorry.
Not with what we now know that word to mean. We get a big dopamine boost every time we see new comments and everything on our socials and new subscribers and new ratings and reviews. So much appreciated. We love our listeners. We love you all. Why don't you throw us a like and everything?
Yeah, because, I mean, hey, we're having fun doing this, but it's also fun knowing that other people are enjoying it.
Exactly.
So, yeah, episodes 61 through 65 this week. So we're going to start, obviously, with episode 61, titled Hidden Power.
Next time you should start with, like, the third episode and then go backwards.
That actually, you know what? In the near future, that might make more sense, considering I watched this first on Cartoon Network, and we're getting close to that point where they did the first, like, reset on the series.
Yeah, I think it's like episode 68 is the last episode of what was the Ocean Group dub. And
All
it's
right.
when the in-house dub for Funimation starts in either episode 68 or 69. I'm not sure which.
I think I got something planned for that one. Don't worry. So yeah, episode 61, titled Hidden Power. We have Krillin and Gohan are on their way to the Elder Kai, and Vegeta is hot on their trail. Goku has finished training at 100 Gs and is looking forward to a bit of rest before arriving on Namek. The boys nearly make it to Elder Kai's when they realize that Vegeta's after them and decide to stop. Krillin decides to run interference while Gohan presses on. Vegeta quickly catches up while flipping Krillin the bird, and then he senses not only Gohan but the Great Elder Kai as well. The Great Elder, not Elder Kai. So much for running interference, I guess. Nail steps out to tell Vegeta to get off their lawn while the Elder touches a child. This unlocks Gohan's potential, which Vegeta mistakes for Goku, only to be humiliated by said child. Vegeta does some quick mental math, realizing that Krillin, Nail, and Gohan are all right here ready to take him on, and decides that he does want that smoke. The Elder, however, warns everyone of a coming Lovecraftian nightmare from space. Goku! Or is it? Vegeta takes a moment to do some more quick math and realizes that it's actually the Ginyu Force. Vegeta then demands the last Dragon Ball, this time with a little bit more panic in his voice. Nail confirms Vegeta's suspicions, and the others agree to Vegeta's plan. Make him immortal so he can defeat the Ginyu Force. They lament losing the opportunity to save their friends, but then Nail drops a new bit of Dragon Ball lore. The Namekian Dragon Balls grant 3 wishes, not 1. With some more mental math, the boys realize they may actually be able to revive their friends and survive this trip at the same time. But right now, it's also the only plan they have, and it's kind of all in on Vegeta and let it ride.
Mm-hmm.
The boys take off to get their wishes, followed shortly by Nail with a little bit of coaxing from the Elder. They collect all the Dragon Balls and leave Bulma in the dark. The Ginyu Force lands on Namek, and we're introduced to a merry and colorful band of braggadocious braggarts. Recoome, Birder, Jeice, Guldo, and the man himself, Captain Ginyu. After the sexiest intro in space history, we are then slapped in the face with credits. Which brings us to episode 62, titled New Ally, New Problem. So the Ginyu Force is on Namek, and our heroes are quickly running out of options. They dial in the new custom scouters that they brought on Vegeta, as well as the Earthlings, and Guldo has a little bit of a flashback, and it's like this not fun interaction where like he embarrasses Guldo in front of Vegeta. So the Ginyus hype themselves up, then fly off in matching purple after Vegeta, Krillin, and Gohan. Meanwhile, Goku is now about 20 minutes from the surface, and he's prepping for landing. Vegeta leads the others to his Dragon Balls, but the boys hesitate at the last possible moment, preventing Vegeta from completing his wish as the Ginyu Force land ready for a fight. What a pity. It would seem that they've actually done Frieza a favor by getting all of the Dragon Balls together for him. Guldo steps forward for a grudge match despite his lack of obvious power, but Recoome intercepts to conduct business on the Dragon Balls first. Vegeta tries to ditch his ball, but Birder just flies out and catches it before it can get very far. Apparently, he's the fastest person in the universe. Krillin tries to destroy the one that he's holding onto when it suddenly disappears from his hands and appears in Guldo's. I guess he can control time? That's incredibly physics-breaking in so many ways. They play Jonkin, they being the Ginyu Force, to decide the honor of fighting Vegeta, and Recoome ultimately. Guldo gets the consolation prize of fighting the Earthlings. Ginyu gathers up the Dragon Balls and takes them back to Frieza. Vegeta actually laments not having Goku around to help them out. Either way, things are looking pretty dire. Krillin and Gohan decide to power up to their full height of power, and the increase is a bit surprising, but the Ginyu Force doesn't really seem all that worried. That brings us to episode 63, Guldo's Mind Binds. And just real quick before I start on this one, episodes 63 and 64, there's some great art in these. So if you're just like, if the last few episodes have left you a little unsatisfied with how pretty the show is, these two will make up for it.
Mm-hmm.
So it would seem that Guldo can actually stop time by holding his breath, no less. Despite an impressive showing by Krillin and Gohan, Guldo manages to escape unharmed. However, that doesn't hold up for very long, as the boys are already pushing Guldo to his limits with their speed. The other Ginyus take in the show and even start some side bets on how the fight will go. Guldo's running out of air and opts to hide and try and regain stamina. But it's clear he didn't know that Earthlings can sense power levels. They keep up the assault against him, but the pressure gets poured on by his teammates, forcing Guldo to pull out his trump card, a paralysis technique. This freezes Frieza, Gohan and Krillin in place. With his enemies trapped, Guldo winds up for a devastating attack. Telekinesis. Also, Berter wins his bet. He throws some rocks, then gets up close and personal for a bit before deciding on a death by giant toothpick. Basically pulls these trees out of the ground, like rips all of the branches and everything on them, turns them into giant skewers, and he's ready to have Earthling kebabs. So the boys are fully stuck with no way to escape, but just before the killing blow lands, Guldo gets sniped by a decapitating laser, which frees them from certain doom. Thanks, Vegeta? He doesn't seem to want thanks, though, because he's evil. The rest of the Ginyus lament their battle-opposed symmetry. Recoome steps up as the next challenger, which brings us to episode 64, entitled Recoome Unleashed. So Recoome steps up, but Vegeta answers with a swift opening barrage. But all it does is wreck Recoome's uniform. Meanwhile, Ginyu's still running the Dragon Balls, but Frieza has progressed to planning the fate of Namek. He decides on turning it into a giant celebratory firework for his new immortality. Recoome decides to actually start fighting back, and Vegeta almost instantly goes for another swim. Vegeta tries to use the cover to counterattack, but that just earns him the mother of all pile drivers. Vegeta tries playing possum again, and surprise blasts Recoome in the face, but all that does is mess up his hair. Krillin and Gohan rightly surmise that Vegeta isn't going to be enough on his own and resolve themselves to charging in to assist. As Recoome fires his laser, the memes, Krillin lands a swift kick to the back of his head, thus having him bite his laser, which I didn't think was a thing that could happen, but I guess it can.
Yeah, sure.
Which also knocks out a bunch of his teeth, which is a great moment. And Gohan flies in to pull Vegeta out of harm's path. Ultimately, this also proves fruitless, as Recoome is still alive, just missing a few teeth, and he returns the favor to Krillin with a kick of the head, and this one keeps Krillin down for good. All that's left now is basically just baby Gohan versus a bigger, stronger Nappa. Will he be able to overcome his fear? And that brings us to episode 65, Let the Battle Begin. So Vegeta's out, Krillin's down, the only one left is little Gohan. How could he possibly take on this mountainous monster? Well, not very well, it turns out. Recoome slaps him so hard that Chi-Chi feels it back on Earth. This prompts her to steal Dr. Brief's new space capsule a bit prematurely. Back on Namek, Gohan's chances are crashing harder than his mom's stolen spaceship. However, Captain Ginyu's stock is rising now that he's returned all 7 Dragon Balls to Frieza. He even makes his wish for eternal youth. Oh no, the bad guys have won! Nail runs back to his master, abandoning the Earthlings and leaving Gohan to eat dirt. So much for the hometown hero stepping up. But despite all this, Gohan still manages to find his feet. Luckily, the Dragon Balls don't seem to be working. Frieza realizes there must be some secret to using them and does a quick survey to try and find some Namekians. And indeed he does. The Great Elder, Dende, and Nail, no less. Ginyu stays to guard the Dragon Balls, and Recoome continues to play with his food. Gohan fights until he has nothing left and soon succumbs to a Recoome kick. And then while he's right at death's door, Recoome standing over him, ready to deliver the finishing blow, Goku finally lands on planet Namek. Boy, I sure hope the network doesn't have to completely start over the series, the first episode of Dragon Ball Z. I promise I'm not bitter about this. And that is the end for this week.
Oh, I'm gonna hit you so hard, Chi-Chi will feel it. Is it great? That's like a great new bit of smack talk. What a fantastic bunch of episodes.
Oh, I love the Ginyu Force so much.
Oh, they're fantastic. They are so much fun.
They're all like different colors, different shapes, different sizes, weird aesthetics.
Yes, they are everything that we have the Ginyu Force at home force from Daima wishes they could be.
If you like, this goes for everybody, not just you, but if you like the Ginyu Force, I strongly recommend watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Okay, I need to watch that.
It's hilarious because it's that same kind of like cheesy over the topness that the Ginyu Force has.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of them being bad guys, it's the heroes that are like that. And it's just like the most ridiculous, crazy, off the wall stuff starts to happen. It's like if you took the Ginyu Force, turned them up to 11, and said that's our entire show.
Okay, they're so good. Like everything just seems to just like we talked about in our previous episode. Mm-hmm. We enjoyed that batch of episodes in general, but there is like sort of a complacency that seems to settle in, and you sort of feel like you're in, I don't want to say a rut, but maybe more of a groove. And the Ginyu Force come in, and they are like a shock to the system.
Oh yeah.
Everything gets turned way up. It feels like the brightness of the show gets literally turned up.
Yeah, and then the other thing that really helps it is the improvement on the art for that first couple episodes that they show up. Just like you said, because they're more colorful. They just the whole show just seems to pop more as soon as they show up, and then you just have like this interesting cast of villains who, even though we don't get much time with them, we get a really good sense of who they are and like their personalities.
Oh yeah. And we mentioned this offline when we were talking about this a little bit, but it's in some ways maybe a good thing that they weren't around for too long, because they are so much fun and so entertaining that they would absolutely threaten to become like the Team Rocket of Dragon Ball, where they are so darn fun and so entertaining, they can easily eclipse the heroic characters that are around them.
Yeah, I could see that, definitely.
So they're used like just exactly enough where they make an impact, and a lasting impact. It's been like 30 years since the Ginyu Force was a real part of the show, and people still remember them.
Well, and they do show up later too.
Right, they show up. Did they show up in a flashback in Superhero? I feel like they've shown up at various times, and
they also show up again later in Z on King Kai's planet.
Oh yeah, is that?
I think it's after Cell.
Is it okay? Is it? I can't. It is. It might be in the Garlic Jr. filler.
Oh, maybe.
We'll have to keep our eyes on peeled on that.
But I remember, because I remember the Ginyu Force showed. Oh no, I think it's actually. I take that back. I think it's this arc, because they all get.
Oh, is it after they're all killed? They all get teleported to King Kai's planet to go train against, like, Chaozu and Yamcha?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's
but yeah, they make such an absolute impact in their relatively limited time. And you also see it just in how often the show has tried to recapture and replicate them in the future. You've got Super's Pride Troopers and Daima's Gendarmerie Force. Were they called? They were like
the special Gendarmerie Force or something like that.
Yeah.
That like that's how badly that one went. We don't even remember who they are.
Yeah. And I liked Daima again. I'll reiterate, but they were not the Ginyu Force.
No, they absolutely were not.
So, very much doubt this will be our last discussion of the Ginyu Force, but it will be our first. And especially it won't be our last because we keep Captain Ginyu and Recoome in our tournament bracket every year.
Yeah, I think so.
Are they the only? I think they're the only two.
Pretty sure. Although, like, Guldo would be an interesting addition with the time stop powers.
Whose time stop is better, Guldo or Hits? Obviously, Hits.
Oh. Well, I mean, I guess it would depend on how they interact, because, like, if Guldo actually stops time, but he manages to do it before Hit can, could he then conceivably beat Hit?
I don't know.
Or when Hit stops time, does it put him in the same plane of existence as Guldo, and then it's just kind of like a wash? These are the questions that need to be answered. Not whose power level is higher. It's like, wait a minute, let's look at some of these edge cases here and figure out what's going on.
Whose time manipulation works what way?
Exactly.
So yes, this is the Ginyu Force, Lord Frieza's private army, his strike team, the elite of the elite, and absolute utter goofballs.
In the best way.
They are one of the best embodiments of just about everything Toriyama is and likes and does in his manga. They're a parody, a subversion. They are colorful, fun, funny, powerful, self-contradictory. They got it all, baby. They've got it all. So let's start with that parody aspect and like some of the subversion. In Japanese, they're the Ginyu Tokusentai. That literally just means special force. But for Japanese viewers, and certainly for American weebs now in the 2020s, Toku and Sentai carry some connotations as well. Toku means special, and it's also how people refer to Japanese special effects, specifically when we talk about tokusatsu, like their suit effects. And Sentai is very often used to refer to Japanese hero TV shows in general, but specifically and especially those that feature hero teams. I only really point out the Toku part because Toku Sentai winds up having this sort of connotation of being like a 70s-ish era superhero squadron, which carries certain expectations in terms of tone and feel. Things like characters going out of their way to pose mid-battle, or really emphasize the speciality of their special moves, boasting about their specific strengths as it pertains to the team, being color-coded. This is actually a lot of what the Ginyu Force are. There's a blue one, a green one, a purple one, a red one, and also Recoome, who I don't know, I'd say he tends toward maybe being the black one, because that's like his little Under Armour thing is black, right? Or
I feel like that's maybe getting a little too close to blackface for my comfort.
Would you call him the yellow one then?
No, he's the white one. There was a White Ranger when we were kids.
Yeah, okay.
Just, don't let him wear a hood and you'll be fine.
He is the only one who's not like very obviously like the blue one, the red one.
Yeah.
They love to talk about what they specifically bring to the team, whether it's speed or power or psychic powers. And of course, they love to pose. They also hit that very Sentai type of humor that's frankly not funny, and that's precisely why it is funny. It's so goofy and innocent that it just works. It's that very Toriyama demon type of humor of, "Oh, I'm a bad boy. I didn't brush my teeth."
It's like, it's cringy when a good guy does it, but when a bad guy does it, it's hilarious.
Yes, exactly. Because Toriyama was Toriyama, this Sentai team aren't a team of heroes, but a team of villains, and that's his subversion of it. That's his twist.
Genius.
That's his opposite. And just to talk about Sentai series and what these are, because they're super important in Japan and Japanese history. Sentai series were originally created by Shotaro Ishinomori, a Japanese mangaka, writer, and director, known as the King of Manga and one of the most influential manga artists and creators of all time. As a mangaka, he most famously created Cyborg 009, and as a writer, he created Kamen Rider in 1971. Produced by Toei, Kamen Rider was the birth point for Henshin heroes, Henshin meaning transforming, of human size who strike a pose to transform and fight a bunch of henchmen and monsters using martial arts. Granted, Kamen Rider was taking its cues from Ultraman, because Ultraman was striking opposed to also transform, but that was giant monsters. Kamen Rider says, hey, what if he was human-sized? It spawned so many sequels and spin-offs, including the absolutely incredible Kamen Rider Black Sun.
Ooh, I have to finish that.
Which we've talked about briefly on this show before. And I swear somebody needs to find me even a tenuous link to Dragon Ball, because I want to do a whole episode on it. We will drop everything else and do a whole Kamen Rider Black Sun episode if we find even a hint of a connection to Dragon Ball.
I am so down for that.
If you're looking for an American comic counterpart to Ishinomori, think of Jack Kirby.
Oh, okay.
But yes, Black Sun, awesome, ANCAP, like anarchist, crazy. It goes so hard, and it's like so intense, and then it just gets better the more you learn about it, because the creator of the show. This is a show that the very first scene of the show features two young children being torturously experimented on.
Yeah, it was wild when I watched it the first time.
By like mad scientists, and the creator of the show is like, I think this is a great show for kids. But anyway, in 1975, after already having created a bunch of stuff that is very, very popular and famous, Ishinomori created Himitsu Sentai Go Ranger, or Secret Squadron Go Ranger, the first Sentai show. The Super Sentai shows all consist of a team of people who transform into superheroes, wear color-coded uniforms, use signature weapons and martial arts prowess to fight supervillains that threaten to take over the Earth. After 2 seasons or series of Super Sentai, which, again, it's kind of like Ultraman, where you have a series that runs for like 50 episodes and then the next series starts, but it's kind of like that's the second season type of thing. But they very much, you can go in and watch Go Ranger and Zui Ranger and what they all stand alone, but they're all in the same franchise. Anyway, after 2 seasons of Super Sentai, the show went on a very brief hiatus, just for 1 series worth, as Toei partnered with Marvel to create the Toei Spider-Man show, which is an absolutely wild ride. Go look it up. It's insane.
It's the best.
Spider-Man, Emissary from Hell.
That's right.
But importantly, what Toei Spider-Man does is it introduces Leopardon, a giant robot that Spider-Man often pilots to fight evil, and introduced the idea of giant robots into Sentai shows. That was kind of a wild piece of trivia for me to learn, is that giant robots in these shows is not innate to a Toei like Ranger show, but rather it comes out of their Spider-Man show.
Why wouldn't it come from? I mean, that's classic Marvel stuff right there.
and Toei would carry this giant robot theme then through their entire franchise. And in 1992, with the show Zui Ranger, Z Ranger, or Zai Ranger, I don't know how to pronounce that word. I'm sorry.
It sounds about right to me.
The Super Sentai series would receive its American port, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Ever heard of it?
No, never. Not once.
I would love a Power Rangers Dragon Ball crossover, by the way.
That would be pretty fun. I think they've done crossovers with like Ninja Turtles.
How have we not had Power Rangers versus Ginyu Force?
Oh,
how has that not happened?
How has that not happened? What? Oh, that's genius. I need to see that.
How has that not happened? How are we in... We're 50 years after the creation of Super Sentai and 35 years after the creation of the Ginyu Force. And that hasn't happened? Come on.
Bird Studios, you're welcome. You don't even have to pay us for this. Just make it. Just make it.
Since Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, most Super Sentai shows have received a corresponding Power Rangers show. And the difference between Power Rangers and Sentai being the special effects sequences are all reused and the human action is all redone with American actors, and very often different storylines as well for those human interactions. And you can actually see pretty good evidence of some of this if you go back and rewatch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. The Yellow Ranger in Zui Ranger is a man, and that's very evident in his tight-fitting costume.
I forgot about this.
But if you remember Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Yellow Ranger was Trini.
Yeah. Oh,
Fun
I forgot
times.
about that. Thank you for the reminder. So,
but yes, until very recently, the Power Rangers versions were all American fans could get. But thanks to like boutique Blu-ray distribution labels, a lot of the Super Sentai shows have been steadily getting released in the U.S. I know Go Ranger did, and Zui Ranger, and I don't know what other ones. I've seen a lot of like fans of this being like, oh, this one's finally coming out. Oh, that one's finally coming out. That's cool. I'm super happy for those people. I still haven't made it through Ultraman. And I started watching Ultraman like 6 years ago.
Oof.
So if I ever get around to the Sentai stuff, it'll be a while. But I know a lot of it.
But we saw Kamen Rider Black, so that's good enough.
Yes.
Okay. So, we know Toriyama was a big fan of Ultraman and Japanese Showa era entertainment, and the Ginyu Force are another reminder of that. But for him, it's not enough to merely bring in his own Sentai team, nor is it enough to just spin it on its head and have them be villains. He has to spin the villainous part of them and have them be goofballs as well. This is Toriyama's mastery at work. Yes, the Ginyu Force are the bad guys, but they're in almost every other way such a perfect replication of Sentai teams that they become well-loved characters. Their insignia is this V-shaped thing that looks like it may be based on Frieza's appearance, or perhaps Ginyu's, whichever you find more likely. We might argue Ginyu's, otherwise it seems every member of Frieza's army would have that insignia though, so that's kind of the way we're leaning right now.
Yeah.
If we're watching the Kai version of Dragon Ball Z, they have their own special theme song with their own special lyrics, where Recoome brags about being powerful, Berta brags about his speed, Guldo brags about being psychic, Ginyu brags about his ability to change, and Jace brags about being the number 2 man on the team. I don't know why my brain keeps wanting to make a poop joke out of that. They also talk about how they shut up whining kids, love to pose, and have decided they're going to have chocolate parfait as their afternoon snack and to not share any. It's a silly song, but it's entirely but that's kind of the point. The Ginyu Force themselves are very silly. This is a trope that goes back and is potentially an idea planted in Toriyama's brain by his love of Disney movies. Almost every Disney villain, however serious they might be, features a sidekick or team of sidekicks who are comic relief to the more villainous scenes in these movies. Even 101 Dalmatians, which we know Toriyama saw as a child, has a pair of bumbling oafs who assist Cruella de Vil. Tuco, the ugly of the good, the bad, and the ugly, is a laughably evil goon who seems to be like a goof, but is every bit as dangerous as Blondie and Angel Eyes. Now, subverting their silliness, however, they are accomplished warriors and are extremely powerful. Just because they're silly does not mean they're to be taken lightly. Gohan learns this the hard way, that they are evil enough to actually kill a child. Also, their names are all puns in typical Toriyama fashion. Ginyu means dairy or milk, and thus they are all dairy types of puns. Berter is butter. That's pretty obvious feeling once you know. Jace is cheese. Recoome is a little bit more inscrutable because it's Toriyama doing what he did for Saiyans, where he took yasai and flipped the syllables. Kurimu is the Japanese word for cream, and Toriyama's kind of like inverting the syllables to get Recoome. Guldo is sometimes translated as GERD, and though you might think that perhaps is a pun on curd, it actually comes from the gert part of yogurt. I was also thinking GERD like lactose intolerance.
Ah. Well, let's get into Guldo or GERD a little bit with what we can and what we have. Now, as mentioned, his name is after yogurt, and he's psychic, and he's small. And for a lot of people, that's kind of about it. Or you could get very into like the weeds of the lore and what his race is and all that stuff. But that's kind of all that there is to him. But we're going to scrape a little deeper, see what we scrounge up. maybe you want to keep sifting that out and keep looking at it, or maybe you just want to let it settle back down and be forgotten. But hey, it's what we could find. So consider he's small, he's green, he's got a bulbous head, he's the warm-up villain prior to the real fighting. He's basically a stand-in, suspiciously so when you start to consider his appearance, for the Cybermen.
Oh, snap. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah. Now I'm going to go places. I'm going to go some places with this now. And I want to preface this, as I always do, that I'm deliberately scrounging deep. I'm looking for connections that, in fact, might not exist. But I'm looking. Right? That's what we started this whole podcast to do, so let's see if we can find something.
Right on.
And B, I very much mean no offense or ill thoughts whatsoever. That said, Guldo is comedically small compared to the rest of the Ginyu Force. We also know Toriyama loved the James Bond franchise. 1974's The Man with a Golden Gun features a henchman named Knick-Knack, portrayed by little person actor Hervé Jean-Pierre Villechaize, who portrayed the assistant tattoo on the TV series Fantasy Island.
Oh, okay.
There's also like a bit of proportional similarity, frankly, between Villechaize and Guldo.
Oh, okay.
Such that I think it's a possibility.
I guess I'd have to see them next to each other.
Yeah, maybe I'll throw that on our socials. And then everyone will be like, oh my God, that's so mean. Why would you say that?
I swear, I'm not setting you up to take the fall or anything.
No, Villechaize, I just thought, like, once I kind of came up with that, I just kind of was like, oh, hey, this guy's really interesting and had a really interesting life, and you don't hear a whole lot about him, so I'd like to highlight him.
Right on.
Villechaize was born in Nazi-occupied Paris in 1943, born with dwarfism due to an endocrine disorder. And he's one of the most famous little people actors in history, actually, along with like Billy Barty and Warwick Davis and Vern Troyer. He's probably like the next one on that list, because Tattoo on Fantasy Island was a really popular character on TV for a while. And also, he was in a James Bond movie.
Yeah.
He found solace in painting as a child after being bullied for his condition, and wound up becoming the youngest artist ever to have his work displayed in the Museum of Paris at the age of 18. He moved to New York in 1964, so he's 21, and taught himself English by watching television, and began working as an artist, painter, and photographer. He began acting in off-Broadway productions and started appearing in films in the late 1960s. In addition to his appearance in Bond and on Fantasy Island, he actually portrayed Oscar the Grouch on Sesame Street when it was required for Oscar to have legs. His co-star in The Man with the Golden Gun and friend Christopher Lee said that it seemed as if Villechaize's time on Bond seemed to be him at the happiest point of the man's life, and his later years seem to bear that out. So if you think about his early years, he's, growing up in like World War II torn Paris, in like the reconstruction after World War II. He's being bullied for dwarfism. Then he moves to a foreign to him country and is struggling to make it. And then, hey, he's in a Bond movie. He's having a great time. And then his end of his life seemed not so fun either. Suffering from chronic pain, Villechaize's various significant others over the years reported he often slept in a kneeling position as his enlarged organs placed pressure on his body and made it difficult to breathe at times. In a particularly dark episode of despondency over his longtime health problems, Villechaize completed suicide in 1993 via gunshot wound.
Oof.
Now that I've successfully brought the mood down, let me proffer another possibility. It's the late 1980s. Akira Toriyama loves movies. He loves action movies. He likes Arnold Schwarzenegger and has already used him once as inspiration for a character, and will use him again relatively soon. Android 16, for those who haven't pieced that one together yet.
What? I would have never guessed.
In 1988, About a year and a half before the Ginyu Force make their debut, Arnold Schwarzenegger starred in a film called Twins alongside Danny DeVito, where the pair star as fraternal twins as the result of a genetic experiment where scientists tried to create the perfect person by mixing the DNA of many people and wound up with non-identical fraternal twins, one getting like all the dominant traits and one getting all the recessive genes. And yes, Metal Gear Solid fans, I see you.
There we go. I was waiting for that.
But I don't know. I think like there's a possibility of that too, of Toriyama being like a Schwarzenegger fan, and even if he didn't see the movie Twins, seeing Schwarzenegger paired with Danny DeVito, and it
is a good movie.
Even just subconsciously thinking, oh, wouldn't it be great to have like all these big buff dudes and put a little short guy in there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's I as far as the Ginyu Force is concerned, I have no notes for Toriyama. That is perfection.
Yeah.
So, moving on to Recoome, and we'll save Jace, Birder, and Ginyu for later. We've got another suspiciously similar substitute character, this time for Nappa.
Boom.
Recoome is the brute of the Ginyu Force, though later on it's revealed in true Toriyama fashion that he studied ballet, in a nice little contradiction of character. He's humanoid, though explicitly not human.
And in a moment of absolute vindication for me, I think in our first ever tournament episode, I said, Recoome's a robot, isn't he? And you were like, you're crazy. He is explicitly not a robot, nor is he an android. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, no one ever thought that but you, dummy. But time for some gotcha journalism here. In the Ocean dub, probably in a censorship move to make it seem like it's okay with the amount of like absolute punishment that he ultimately takes, because this is a thing that you did in old time TV shows. We talked about this when we talked about Nappa too, how like Nappa blows up all those planes and there's like off-screen dialogue that's like, it's okay, I made it safely to land. Like,
yeah.
So Vegeta refers to Recoome as an overgrown android. So it was something that was actually hinted at, and I just carried it for like decades.
Oh, good for you. Anyway, Recoome is just some alien race that looks to be very human. And speaking of looks, there are two possibilities here, or maybe more like one, but well, maybe you'll see what we mean. So for this, we take a cue from the dub a little bit, where Recoome has a bit of a dopey-sounding voice, and wonder if perhaps the dub was taking a cue from his appearance and doing their own thing with it. Now, it's possible Recoome was inspired by the 1985 film Rocky IV and the two combatants of the cinematic boxing match. In fact, in 1989, Toriyama even published a very short 7-page one-shot called Rocky. It's a Dr. Slump spinoff, but the main character has a pretty Stallone-esque face. It's true that Recoome's hair is red, but it bears a reasonable resemblance to late 80s era Stallone, hair otherwise, and his tall stature calls to mind the Russian Ivan Drago, as portrayed by Dolph Lundgren. Now, Lundgren would have been very popular at this point, having had a massive breakthrough in 85 with Rocky IV, and then appearing as He-Man in 1987's Masters of the Universe. Could Toriyama have been pulling inspiration from this film, making a character's face and hair styled after the more diminutive actor, while the stature was designed after the more imposing figure? Or playing with subversions and opposites in some way? Let's just say yes.
Yeah.
Lundgren is a really interesting person. He was born in Sweden in 1957 and driven to seeking solace in contact sports and weightlifting due to a troubled home life with his father. He's also an incredibly intelligent person, having graduated high school with straight A's and studying chemical engineering at Washington State and Clemson universities before serving a mandatory year in the Swedish military, and ultimately eventually receiving a degree from the Royal Institute of Technology in Stockholm in chemical engineering. It's a little fun fact that's close to home for the two of us.
Yeah.
In 1983,
we could probably have a conversation with Dolph Lundgren.
And maybe understand half the words, at least in my case. In 1983, while enrolled in MIT under a Fulbright scholarship, he met Grace Jones at a nightclub and they became lovers. While dating, he became friends with people in the entertainment industry who encouraged him to be an actor, and he said he found it more appealing than chemical engineering. I'm not surprised. So he quit studying at MIT and pursued acting. In 2009, Lundgren's family were victims of a home invasion while he was not home, and even tied up his wife and daughter before coming across a family photo realizing whose house it was, and then fleeing. Lundgren has been battling kidney cancer since 2015. So we gotta kill the mood a little bit right there at the end. But back to Recoome, there's some reasonable resemblance between Lundgren as he appears in Masters of the Universe and the member of the Ginyu Force.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of interesting, and that story of the home invasion is like one of those ones where it's like at a first blow it does seem kind of funny. Like,
yeah,
they broke into his house and then they're like, oh this
wait,
is his house.
Just drop his house. We need to get the hell out of here.
But apparently it was also like a pretty traumatic experience. Like his daughter had like PTSD for years afterwards.
I can imagine.
And it like strained his relationship with his wife so much that they got divorced like 3 years later.
Oof. That's rough. I feel for him.
Yeah. But really interesting guy.
Absolutely interesting guy.
And he's also in the first attempt at a Punisher movie. It's not a very good Punisher. It's not a very good movie.
I mean, the Punisher, all of the Punisher movies were a little hit or miss.
The Punisher movies are like, my favorite one is Warzone, but it's mostly because it's like that. It's that excellent mix of decent and like really, really schlocky. Like at one point, TJ Storm, who is a mocap actor TJ Storm, who's a mocap actor that has portrayed Godzilla in the legendary Godzilla movies. Boom.
He's done it, folks. He's done it.
He is doing parkour across the building tops, and he gets blown up with an RPG.
Seems a bit excessive.
Punisher Warzone is awesome. It's like one of those movies where they were like, we're going to make it R-rated, and we're going to make it as R-rated as we can.
So like that, what's that Santa movie with the guy
from Violent Night?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Warzone's kind of awesome from that. Like, it's not what you would call like a good movie, but if you're into that kind of like schlocky action movie, you should absolutely see Punisher Warzone. The Dolph Lundgren Punisher, much like the Dolph Lundgren Masters of the Universe.
Also, yeah.
I mean, he's a very convincing looking He-Man, but
oh yeah, absolutely.
He's too stoic.
Well, I mean, also it's a property that started out as a kids show to push toys. So I mean,
yeah,
there's not a ton there.
Frank Langella's a really good Skeletor in that movie, though.
Yeah, and you know what? I really actually kind of like the makeup for that in that movie.
He's Masters of the Universe is one of those movies where very often while you're watching it, you're kind of wondering, who is this for? It doesn't seem like anyone in this has any idea what movie they're making. They all just seem pitched very wrong. Yeah. Until you hit Frank Langella and you're like, he understood the assignment. He knew what movie he was in, what character he was, what his role was, and he was like, I'm here to chew some scenery.
Right on. Those are my favorite.
He does it excellently. But yeah, I actually like kind of once I hit on that, I was like, boy, between how he looks in Masters of the Universe and just in general how Lundgren looks in Rocky IV, like how imposing he is.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, hey, that's Recoome.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, the only other character who's taller than him is Birder, but Birder doesn't have that character. He doesn't have that same level of imposing.
Yeah, he's more he's a bit sleek? More lankily. Yeah, like he's sleek. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Whereas Recoome's got that big bruiser type of build.
Yeah, like his arms and legs themselves are tree trunks.
Yeah, and he's like a tank too.
Yeah.
I mean, with the amount of punishment he ends up taking.
Well, I mean, Vegeta throws his best shots at him, and all it does is mess up his hair and his shirt. like how demoralizing is that?
And later on, he gets his pants ripped too, which we talked about. Like Nappa is maybe the most censored character in Dragon Ball history. Recoome's got to be then like a close second between the Ocean dub calling him an overgrown android, and then also I know in like various, depending on like what version you're watching,
Mhm.
when he's killed by Goku and he's just like crumpled over and like his butt is sticking up in the air,
Yeah.
you'll either see
They censor it to like cover up his butt crack.
Yeah, you'll either see a butt or you'll see like his shorts drawn back on to like censor his butt crack.
And not done very well because it like randomly floats in different directions and stuff as the camera's moving. It's like, who do they pay to do that exactly?
I like Recoome better than Guldo, I'll say. Recoome's actually one of the highlights of the Ginyu Force, I think.
I agree. They use him to excellent effect.
Because he is, he's suspiciously similar to Nappa, but Nappa is, and rightfully so, Nappa is evil. Nappa is nasty.
Mm-hmm.
And so is Recoome, but he is so much more gleeful in that.
Yeah, he actually enjoys people fighting back and hitting him.
Yeah. Yes, when he gets hit back and he's like hurt, he's like, "Oh, now it's fun."
Yeah.
Which is kind of like there's a character in My Hero Academia who's like that in when they go after the Hasaikai.
Mm-hmm.
And they're raiding that underground base to try and save Eri. There's the one character who really likes fighting.
Yeah.
And he fights against Fat Gum and Red Riot.
Yeah.
Who I almost just called Red Rocket.
Oh, don't do that. Don't do that. That's too close to Zenkai Boost.
I like a villainous character like that who gets like excited when he's getting not all the time.
Yeah. No, I'm actually kind of glad you brought up that instance because that is one of my favorite scenes in My Hero Academia. And I feel like that type of villain really only shines when they get to beat on the hero.
Right.
Because it's really selling this sort of like they're having almost like this battle euphoria.
Yeah, yeah.
And it kicks up like the crazy and evil like an extra notch, I think.
Right. And it also like it gives it just like such a different flavor and feel to like them beating up the villain. Like it's kind of weird because it's like when they gleefully enjoy getting hurt and getting the possibility that they are gonna die, you don't think that there's any possibility of them showing any quarter or mercy to the hero either, and so it brings that level of tension to the situation.
I think there's another extra level of tension added to that because in my mind, when I see a character like that, I know, the hero's probably going to have to kill them to get them to stop.
Yeah,
and depending on the hero, that's a pretty interesting point of conflict. Depending on who you, especially for someone like Gohan, who has issues with fighting in general.
Right.
But now he's up against somebody that like you're going to have to kill that guy if you want him to stop. He's not going to stop on his own.
And not because he's like, it's weird. It's almost like not because he's evil. It's because he's like so crazy that this is his version of like honor. You know, like
yes,
his version of a fair fight is to the death.
Yep. And that when you're let's see, how old's Gohan at this point? Like 7, maybe
5. Yeah,
getting the absolute crap beat out of him by an alien that's like 10 times his size.
Yeah, I don't think he's 10 years old yet.
No, he's definitely not. Because he starts. Is he 4 at the start of Z? 4 or 5?
It's like it's one of those things where I think
depending on translation, it's different. Yeah,
they originally said 4, and then people were like, you're having like a 3-year-old get his ass kicked, and Toriyama was like, okay, then he's 5, and everyone was like, that Chi-Chi would have had to be pregnant during the tournament, and he's like, what? Get over it, like.
It's like, why do you people constantly try to like do the math behind the things that I tell you? Stop that.
He could have just as easily had it be like
power levels. You guys don't stop.
He could have just easily had it be like a 6 or 8 year break between Dragon Ball and Z, but he was like,
Yeah.
nah, it's been 3 years. Gohan is 5. Everyone's like, oh, the math is not mathing there,
Well,
sir.
see, that's why Chi-Chi wanted to get married so badly. It was a shotgun wedding. She gave him a Zenkai boost at the wrong time.
Oh. Oh, but no, the Ginyu Force are so great. And I mentioned the only other time that Dragon Ball brings in a team that I think is similar to them in any way really is the Pride Troopers. And it is like when the Pride Troopers do their thing later in Super, like Champa is, or not Champa, the Dispo is like purple and Jiren is gray. And even though they all wear the same uniform, but like Top or Topo is like orangish, and then they've got like a cyborg on their team. Like they all have that, like they're color coded, they're disparate, they're like just like the Ginyu Force.
Yeah.
But
them versus the Ginyu Force would probably be pretty fun too. These guys
just, like I said, it's like the show's brightness level kicks up. It's like it's like the Wizard of Oz. Let's bring it back. It's like the show went from sepia toned to color.
Yeah. And I think probably my favorite aspect is if you made those characters like their own show and had them be the heroes, it would just be so bland. Because we've, like you said, there's so many different like Sentai series out there. But the minute you make those guys villains, man, they are unforgettable.
You could also successfully probably make a Ginyu Force show.
Yeah, but I think they'd have to be the villains in that show.
Oh yeah, I do still think they are it's a show where they're the protagonists, but they're still the villains.
There we go.
Right? It's a show following the Ginyu Force as they go around like conquering planets. and like people begging for mercy from them, and them like having no like them betting on whether each other will show the other one mercy, and which one of them will be the one to like finish off the planet and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's almost like it has kind of like the feel of like Super Troopers to it a little bit.
Yeah.
where they're like constantly goading each other into doing crazier and crazier stuff.
I would watch that show.
Oh god, I'd watch that endlessly. That would be amazing.
But if there's one thing that I think we want to take away from this episode, it's Power Rangers versus Ginyu Force.
Please make it happen. Please.
They're owned by the same company.
I know, and they've never thought of it. This is why we need more listeners, so you guys can also put this out there and just get in touch with people that can make this kind of decision. This is free money right there. They're just leaving it on the table.
This is the IP crossover. This is the IP crossover we need.
Yeah.
Not Godzilla versus Hulk, which is actually also happening.
Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers have crossed over multiple times.
Power Rangers fought Godzilla the first time around. It wasn't that good. I haven't read the second one yet.
But I mean, it makes so much sense to have them fight the Ginyu Force. It would be amazing. Could you imagine like Captain Ginyu swapping with one of the Power Rangers and then trying to figure out how to pilot a Zord?
Oh,
tell me that would not be comedy gold.
A whole episode where Captain Ginyu is walking around in one of the Rangers' bodies.
Oh man. He could have that Lex Luthor moment from Justice League Unlimited where like he pulls off the Power Rangers. I have no idea who this person is.
Not to mention, I'll do another little Power Rangers reference here. First of all, Kimberly, potentially my first crush ever.
As most young men of our age.
Yeah. There's she reappears in like a later Power Rangers thing where
they just did like a reunion show or something with the original cast.
But she appears in the Turbo movie where she's evil.
Oh, yeah.
And evil Kimberly can get it even more than normal Kimberly.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, no, I see where you're coming from.
so if you really want to pump up one of your Power Rangers actors into get it mode, have him be possessed by Ginyu. See?
You know what? Yeah, because would you be attracted to the character, or would you be attracted to what they look like? Because technically, you'd be crushing on Captain Ginyu at that point. Which no shame. I get it.
I get it. Oh. Yeah,
these are the kinds of things. This is why we need these kinds of crossovers to start these sorts of conversations.
Yeah. This is the crossover.
We need Bad Girl Kimberly get Captain Ginyu is what we need.
Oh, yeah.
Could you imagine, like, they dress her up to make her look evil, and then she's just doing the same Ginyu poses and stuff? I would just be rolling on the ground laughing.
Oh, do you know how great that would be if you had Captain? There's like a whole bunch of great opportunities for jokes there. Like Captain Ginyu takes over the body of one of the Power Rangers, and he's like constantly instructing them in their poses.
He just switches from one Sentai team to the other.
That's why he switches. He's like, "Hang on, let me fix your poses."
Yeah, you guys need a choreographer. That's what you need.
This show writes itself.
It really. We're giving you so much good stuff here, Toei. Just do it.
But I do think that's all that I have for today.
Yeah, that's all I got too.
So, the Ginyu Force rules, Recoome rules, Guldo's fine.
And he serves his purpose.
Yeah.
Okay, we're tracking the power readings when we're moving towards a star here.
Helios.
What?
We're going to call that Helios.
Why?
Because it's made of helium. That should be pretty obvious.
But our instrumentation says it's mostly hydrogen. Not to mention every star has similar elemental makeup.
Listen, we're calling it Helios.
Sure. Why not? Let's just make up whatever names we please at this point. Why not just call that planet in this system Earth?
We need to confirm a planet is Earth before we can just call it that.
And how are we supposed to do that?
Because we've seen Earth while watching all this Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball also insists that Lord Frieza is evil, so why should we trust anything that's shown us to be accurate in any way? Unless...
Sounds like some treasonous thoughts might be forming in your head there, recruit.
Not at all, no. I just don't know how we'll know something is Earth when we find it.
Oh, will we locate Earth? What will we find in orbit around this new star Helios? Will we catch our quarry? Find out next time and help us achieve our final forum.
Final Form is written and produced by Tom Gwelly. It is performed by Dan Kinney and Tom Gwelly. Our webmaster is Dan Kinney. Our theme music is provided by YouTube content creator GVG Kid. Want to learn more about the Dragon Ball universe, including concept art, behind-the-scenes interviews, and recommendations from Jelli and Bekinney? Connect with us on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Final Forum Pod. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you receive your podcasts. And of course, make sure to share it with your friends and family and help us spread the word of the glory of Lord Frieza. The Frieza Force thanks you for your listenership.